worn down by the boots of empire, a people torn apart by strife, or bowed and bent by oppression. That's what they want you to see. When they conquered our home, the empire thought they had taken everything from us. But what they don't understand is, the more you take, the hungrier people get. And friend, we got hungry. When we had lost everything, we found each other. We found ancient truths and forgotten poems and stories that told us who we used to be. Together, we drove out the conquerors. Now, our home, our haven, is a land reclaimed.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Welcome to All Nerds Here. It's Wednesday night. That means it's time for Haven, a Land Reclaimed. How's everyone doing in the chat? Hope y'all are having a good time. Hope it's this being the Wednesday before American Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving having happened a month ago at least. Those getting ready for celebration at home. Hope you're staying safe. Everyone else, hope you're having a good time as well. Anyway, this is All Nerds Here, a group of tabletop-loving merrymakers who play games for your entertainment. We are playing Haven, a Land Reclaimed. I am JR. I play the Arbiters. My pronouns are he, him. I am using the Guardians of History playbook for now. And let's get on with the rest of the introductions because we have a party and a feast to get to. So next to me on the screen and once again in my heart is Simon.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here once again. My name is Simon. My pronouns are he, him, and I am going to be playing the Woven, which are the newfound family playbook for Free from the Yoke. And my avatar for this age is Shochi, who is an ambassador. His pronouns are she, her.
Ooh. And next to Simon, both in dignity and location digitally, is Alex.
Hi there, everyone. I'm Alex. My pronouns are he, him, and I am going to play Chimali, who uses she, they pronouns, and also the Fortress of Unbroken Bonds is my faction.
Excellent. Beneath Simon and I, but above us in stature, is Rue.
Yes, I tower above everyone. Anyway, I am Rue. My pronouns are she, her. I use the Teachers of Ancient Truth playbook, renamed as Ashes of Prithvi, and I usually play Veeb. Pronouns are also she and her.
Excellent. Sitting up there in his ivory tower, looking down on everyone, is Viditya.
Oh, hi, I'm Viditya. I use he, him pronouns. I'll be playing the faction Sages of Cinder, which in the original game are the Church of the Forgotten Lands. And my character is Shura, who is a Bogatir class and uses she, her pronouns.
And then finally, hanging out in your living room, that's right, your living room, don't look, is Kevin.
Hey, I'm Kevin. I play an 8th level show human rogue, and they are of the river folk who, the river folk, the Southeast Asian people who started this war and ended it.
Well,
yes, last time on Haven, war had been declared within and without as the river folk, and shortly thereafter the Woven and the Ashes of Prithvi joined in an alliance to rise up in rebellion against the rule of the Arbiters. After fighting a massive battle against the Changers of Coin, a coalition of both the Woven and the Riverfolk managed to break the strength of the Changers of Coin in this age. The Changers of Coin are sort of the mercantile faction based on the Glorious Merchant Republic. but they don't matter anymore because their strength has been smashed and they've been scattered to the seven winds. They do still have a secret vault on our map somewhere, so we'll have to kind of check that out at some point. Also, we learned that the Hua are invading. The Hua are a colonizing force from the southeast, sort of inspired by, kind of roughly based on China and their kind of relationship with Vietnam. They are a powerful and colonizing empire, as they have set foot ashore on the eastern shore of Haven. The eastern shore has had a lot happening lately, because let's cut over to the map real quick.
Oh yeah, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot.
Yeah, a lot happened. We just want to catch folks up. So on the map, if you look, we use Jamboard, powered by Google. Please give us money. If you see this here, this didn't used to be here, but this giant plesiosaur that folks awoke and bonded with last time kind of crashed through the terrain and chomped a marble pillar in half, freeing up vast amounts of natural energy as Chimali, Alex's character, became friends with it. And what do you do with a friend? You give him a bite to eat. Meanwhile, Vib, still the leader of the Ashes of Prithvi, snuck into the expensive Imperial Temple, which was once occupied by the Keepers of the Tome, and encountered in the basement the vampire Imperial Captain, Dumond. And I think that's exactly where we pick up today. Because Vib, you were in the basement of this, where there is a mech, and here is this vampire captain. You're sort of in this large, very ornate ceremonial chamber, right? Like everything in this temple is ceremonial. I think like this mech in particular is very it's very Warhammery in that it's like got probably got like script, like ancient scriptures or sutras or something carved on it, and it's got like all kinds of religious iconography like built into it. And it's sort of kind of gathered dust and cobwebs in the basement here. I don't know if we've seen spiders in Haven, but apparently they're here. But lurking out of the shadows, kind of taking shape, is first Mist and then the man that is Captain Dumond. What do you do, Vib?
And they're materializing in front of Veeb or like behind her menacingly?
In front.
Okay. She'll get her. Let's see. She'll have her axe out, but otherwise isn't gonna. She'll wait for them to make the first move.
Excellent. I think Captain Dumond says, "So, you wish to fight? What do you hope to accomplish here?"
I don't wish to fight. I'm just trying to be prepared. I think you'd appreciate that. Being I assume, warrior yourself, from what I can surmise from you.
Very perceptive. Time has changed you, he says, smiling with the immortal grin of a Dracula.
Ooh. Does he look the same as when Veep saw?
Yeah, exactly the same.
Okay.
Which is kind of paler. He has fangs. He kind of looks way more like a typical image of a Jiangshi.
Ooh.
Interesting. Yeah, Veep will look at them and just be like, time has preserved you. I don't know whether that's to your liking or not.
It seems it seems as doesn't really concern me anymore.
Fair.
Regardless.
I love this.
Regardless.
Steve is just like,
Alright.
I hear that. I hear you. Oh,
We do not need to cross our blades.
what do you?
I will simply be taking that. And he gestures behind Vib.
Veeb will turn and look, but keep him in her vision.
He's gesturing at the mech.
Oh. That I can't let you do. I need this, and my people need this, and you're dead, so I don't know what you would need it with. need with it.
My people are... I may be dead, but I am still serving the Empire. And your people soon will be serving the Empire again as well.
I don't think that'll be the case. I'm not a leader of my people anymore, but we've left the power of our people in capable hands, and they're not looking to join the Empire anytime soon. Although we will definitely be utilizing your talents for our purposes.
Well, one suit of armor, one sword will make little difference. Our plans have been in motion for decades. I like you. You have spirit. You killed me last time. Not many people do that.
He just looks like kind of weirded out when he says he likes her. She's just like, ugh. I don't want your.
I'll make you this offer. Let me have the mech. No one ever need know that you did so. And your house, your people will be spared when, once again, the Imperial banner is flown over Haven. I will instruct our allies, directing the Hua,
Oh god.
that the ashes, you call yourselves, I believe, that the ashes of Prithvi are not to be touched.
That's a very tempting offer.
All you need do is stand out of the way.
It's very tempting. I know it's very tempting because that offer was given to us before, when the Empire first stood up, and we took it. My people took that offer and chose to stand down in front of the Empire, let them subsume our society. We're quiet when they took over other places, and then we lost thousands of our people when we tried to fight. So
Yes.
I think I will choose not to take the offer this time around. And
You
we'll...
benefited from our rule, did you not? Your people were mired down by old traditions. You yourself are forging a path away from them, are you not? You're using the progress you learned under our heel. It need not be this way.
Jeez.
What would you be without us?
It's very interesting.
Why are you even trying to debate here, boss? Come on. Just take it from her. They were useless in the past, they're not useful now.
Can I just say that
The Empire will rule again.
Vive like takes out her axe and just throws it at her.
Like, yeah. I think
Yeah, so-
like, the Empire will rule again. He like charges at you.
Vive like doesn't even look up and just like tosses like an arrow straight through whoever.
Hell yeah.
I would ask Viditya to describe his lackey, but since he's dead, I don't think it matters. A soldier in like a face obscuring imperial helmet kind of is impaled against the wall.
Oh yeah, like
You
right
gotta
between.
rebuild the empire, Yug.
I place colonialism in defense position. You.
In response, I activate my pot of greed that allows me to draw 2 cards and add them to my hand.
Oh my god. We zoom
do love
out
that.
and there's like all of a sudden a table with cards.
Someone's
God.
We're all gonna get DMCA'd for this, so let's get back to the scene.
Because we're too good.
Oh my
Too
god.
accurate.
Too accurate.
Veeb considers what they're saying, and she smiles. Yes, you're right. We wouldn't be who we are today without the Empire. But we also wouldn't be who we are today if we hadn't fought up against the Empire and chose to move away from it. We made the decisions that brought us here today. And so I choose this path in this fork in the road to not join the Empire. People in power who make promises hardly ever keep them. So I think I will keep my chances with the people who have stood by me with me up until this point, rather than the one that wanted to stamp us out.
Then die along with them, and he lunges at you.
Ooh.
What do you do?
All right.
We've really got a mouth on her in 10 years. Jeez.
Yeah, I know.
He did.
Yeah.
Beeb is like,
Yeah.
I'm not a council leader anymore. I could say what I want. All right. Let me see what I can do in response.
Shoot him.
Like that talks like.
Yeah, I this is very good. This is very good. Thank you, chat. This is what we strive for. Like any good game is basically just a VN waiting to happen.
I imagine that when the video game that is Veeb is just God of War, right? And so this was like a cutscene happens and then the camera spins around and you're back to me with the fucking axe.
Yeah, well, it's like a good Dynasty Warriors game where you're killing like thousands of soldiers, but you're doing it to get to the cool parts where Cao Cao
fight
talks
China.
about how he's gonna unite China. Yeah.
This is the part where you're like, oh wait, I gotta move, and the camera
I
spins
put my
wildly.
I'm in control of my
Controller
character again. Yeah, the camera just like panned over your shoulder and settled into place.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does Veeb do?
I think we'll go with fiercely assault. So she'll respond immediately. She was kind of assuming that as soon as she finished her speech, if she got to finish her speech, that she was going to get attacked. So
Good. Well, she was correct. So you are fiercely assaulting. Roll plus might. On a hit, you've achieved your goal. They're wounded, bound, or fleeing. On a 7 to 9, choose 1, and the GM chooses 2. On a 10 plus, you choose 2, and I'll choose 1 from the list that I'll read. The things you can choose for your character are: your avenue of escape is clear, you inflict savage, terrifying harm and frighten your foes, you scavenge a useful piece of gear in the aftermath, you learn something useful, ask a question, and get fleeing advantage acting on it. The GM list is: something or someone important to you is harmed, others will come after you, you take harm appropriate to the enemy, and the situation is destabilized and chaos will follow.
I rolled a 3.
Ooh, perfect.
Ooh.
Viva's been out of battle for a little bit. She's a little rusty.
She is a little she's rusty, and Dumon's lunge is kind of it's a feint. It would be a straightforward attack, and as you swing, he leaps high, much higher than you would expect. Again, Zhang Shi. and descends out of sight, and the attack comes from an unexpected angle. I think. What gear does Veeb have?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Do you have any armor? Really, is what I'm getting at here.
We have the tags tough and hardy from my house.
Yes.
So I don't
Gives
think
you
she has
one.
any like specific armor though, just like kind of general tough, like maybe
No,
cloth armor. Ooh.
Tough gives you 1 armor.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
tough gives you 1 armor.
Ah, gotcha.
So you would be taking a deadly wound here. You can spend your tag, strike out tough, basically, to
Got
downgrade
it.
deadly to heavy.
Yeah, let's go with that. We'll
All right.
ruin her armor so that she doesn't die.
Yeah, so he kind of descends out of the rafters very, very menacingly, and it doesn't really strike with a weapon, just with kind of long fingernailed hands kind of clawing straight through you. What does Veep wear?
She just wears like really thick, like it's cloth, but it's just extremely thick, and then it has like leather portions on it.
Just straight shredded, and you take a heavy wound.
Ooh. We can say that the wound, I don't know where you were aiming for, but I think it hits me like right kind of at the shoulder, like where the shoulder and arm attach.
Yeah, I think you take the bleeding heavy wound. So you should have a number of heavy wound slots, and just go ahead and fill one of those up.
Yeah. Filled up with bleeding. All right.
What do you do?
Ooh. Does he have a weapon, or is he just like running at her and is just very strong?
He does not have a weapon, no.
Can you disarm him anyway? Like,
Well, you would be literally disarmed.
His arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that, right? Like, you've got Wynn's axe, which I believe has the brutal tag. So yeah, like absolutely you can do that.
Oh fuck yeah!
That's what that tag is for messing people up.
Cool.
As long as he's a vampire, who fucking cares?
yeah, it'll keep our rating because there's no blood.
Yeah.
The camera cuts away right before you would see it.
Well, it's just smoke comes out.
That's true. Yeah, so would I be able to roll on disarm, or would that just be fiercely assault again?
And it would be fiercely assault. Yeah, disarm in this case is taking some kind of bold action to de-escalate a dangerous situation. I guess you could maybe try and
Can't de-arm.
I mean, you could try, like, you could make driving him out a thing, but again, that feels like what would happen if you accomplished your goal. You know, they're wounded, bound, or fleeing.
That makes sense.
Which your goal here is to like drive off Dumont, right?
Yeah. In that case, can she? Let me see. I think I would reposition to be closer to that mech. I'm assuming the mech that I'm between him and the mech. I don't know if that's correct.
You can get back between him and the mech. He jumped over you to get to it.
Yeah.
He's between it and you right now.
Oh no. All right.
But you're a fearsome bogatir. You can go wherever you want. There's no attacks of opportunity.
Yeah. She's a lower master, so slightly less fighty.
Oh right, lore master. Sorry. You can still go wherever you want.
Yeah, have you splashed Eldritch Knight?
Yeah, so she'll run.
I guess Veeb just acts like a bogatir.
Oh yeah.
She is, yeah, she does a lot of fighty stuff, even though she's never been a warrior. She's
I love
it.
Veeb's like, this isn't who I am. It's just what I can do.
Yeah, I'm good at magic, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna fight you. So yeah, what do you do?
So she gets closer to the mech, and I added a ritual. I don't know if I was supposed to create like how it worked or not for our house, but it was because the ashes have been in there in the 10 years that we've gone past. One of the things that they've been trying to do is break the bonds that spirits have to the land, because they think that it keeps tying them down to this world instead of letting them be free in the way that they need to. So I was wondering if she can try and do that to see if
Yeah, absolutely. So
Just de-soul this guy.
where did
Fuck
you
yeah.
where did you learn this ritual from?
I feel like there was, when I swapped a doctrine or something, it was there, but I could be wrong.
Right. Right. So it's one of your house's rituals. So there are no
Yeah.
conditions on it. So yeah, just roll plus lore, enact a ritual. Say what you want the magic to do and roll plus lore.
Sweet. Whoops. Lost my roll 20 page. There
Oh,
it
okay.
is.
That not whoops, I rolled a 3. Whoops, I lost. Well, that's
Oh,
that's
no.
honestly better. Honestly, much better of an option here.
There we go.
So yes, say what you want the ritual to do and roll plus lore. On a hit, it does roughly what you want. On a 7 and 9, pick 1 blessing. On a 10, pick 2.
Alright.
and-
I got a 6. Real, not so great rolls today.
Oh,
So what do you want this magic to do?
So she wanted it to see if it would like break his ties to this world and see if that would like weaken him or just make it so he wouldn't be able to attack her as much anymore.
Okay. So one of the things that these vampires in particular do is they feast on life essence. So
why are you bringing that up, JR?
you start enacting this ritual. What does that look like?
She pulls out an arrow. I don't think she uses the axe for this for now. And she just takes it like in her hand and puts some of the ashes that she carries with her on it and says like she's trying to do it quickly, so she does like a really quick like ritual over it, lights a match and lights the flame, and then as the tip of the arrow is still in like a flame, she throws it at just kind of like a paper airplane, just throws it at him.
I love it.
I think it kind of dissolves and he kind of inhales the ashes and his eyes flare with fire and he strikes again. If you have another tag of armor, you can downgrade this deadly wound.
What'd you say it was tough and what? Were your
Tough and hardy.
hardy is armor?
Okay, then another one
Oh,
bites
good.
the dust.
All right. You.
Oh wait, it would.
I think-
Or is it not?
Sorry. Sorry, it's armor
Environmental
against cold, rain, and dangerous weather.
Ah.
When those would harm you, then it counts as armor.
Never mind.
Tough is for physical harm.
Then I think Captain Dumond kills Veeb here in the basement, away from
Wait.
the eyes of everyone else, as you take
Hold
a
on.
mortal wound.
Ooh.
You have a death move. There's a particular power in death. As you die, describe the powerful and lasting ritual that you work with your final breaths. So I think it's like I think this is like the like you see like the his eyes flare and then in a second like crazy fast like he's right next to you, you know, and it's that it almost looks like you're embracing, but clearly he's impaled you with his razor sharp claws. You know, like it's that it's not obvious yet, like we don't see that, but when you when you pan back down. What ritual do you work, and what does it look like? And this is powerful and lasting, so you like change the world, make something different, go big.
Cool. Yeah, so I think Veeb, like, she sees him come at her, and she realizes, like, there's no chance. She messed up that ritual. It didn't. She's still, like, a pretty new lore master, and these are things that she hasn't mastered quite yet. But in that moment, she like lets him attack her so that it throws her against the mech, and she uses that to like just like dig into that wound that she already has and pour it into the mech, and she binds herself to the mech.
Ooh.
So
Excuse me?
Wait.
So it doesn't make it so necessarily she is still alive in the mech. Instead, it's that only those from the ashes can activate it.
Oh, snap.
Oh fuck.
So,
Wait, is there only one mech here? I forgot, right?
There's only one here. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
if there were more, she would have just.
That's why I
All
was
of
like,
them
wait,
are
just fucking
mine.
turn them all into it.
All right.
Yeah, so she
So,
kind of like carves. She carves things that are from an ancient language that they don't really use anymore, and that most of the written versions of it are lost. But people know it when they see it if they're from the ashes. And she just kind of carves it like onto the leg that's closest to her, and then as she does that to finalize the ritual, and so that Dumont can't have her, she like lights a flame and then just casts it on herself.
Veebs, what happens to your body?
Oh, Veeb's an ash now.
Yeah, like does Veeb burn up into ashes, or is it like her like essence goes into the?
I think it's both. It's that she like burns up, and it burns up a lot faster than a body should burn up, which is a part of the ritual, that it kind of like turns her up super fast, and just all of the smoke pours into the mech. The mech lights up a little bit, like all the mechanisms go off, and then it just shuts back down as it like awaits somebody else to take it up.
Dumond looks at the mech and kind of realizes what's happened, and like snarling inhales to roar, and we zoom back out to the exterior of the temple as birds kind of fly away. Meanwhile, elsewhere in Haven, peace has been reached between the Arbiter and the rebels, and we had made mention of celebrating and sealing this peace with a feast. Simon.
Yeah. I think tentatively forming a compact, and in the interests of trying to unite the various factions of Haven against the greater threat, which are the outside invaders, the Tusk Lords from the northwest. Members of the Woven are gathering to hold a grand feast in Covenant. And so what I have here is a move, which is called, easily enough, the Great Feast. When you spend a week of festivals, once per season, I can throw a week of festivals that celebrate something from my source culture. And I say how the festival finds new expression in this land, and then I roll plus whatever surpluses are nearby. And then I can add some fun stipulations to these festivals. So really all I have, because I moved my attunement and my raw materials to the fleet, where the changes of coin at headquarters were, I only have my surplus of coin available.
That's a good surplus to have for a feast.
It's a good one
though.
if we're gonna host, right?
That's a really good one.
So I'm going to be tapping that.
All right.
So what we're going to do, I think, is hold a feast that connects to It's probably like it probably is a harvest festival of some kind,
Mhm.
because it's thematic for a variety of reasons. But I think it also is about the Woven are like a lot of different ethnic groups from their home in the Southwest beyond the like salt flats, and also new diasporic groups that they found in Haven.
Right.
And I think this was a ritual or a festival that celebrated sort of the unifying a lot of those groups, not necessarily as we are one people, because I think the Empire said, well, you're all this one group. Like you're all live in this one little pocket of the land. You are all one people now. And they were like, what? No, what? That's not how we. And then eventually sort of like blended that together. And I think this originally was a festival that was like, here's all of these different groups and tribes that come together and celebrate the diversity of who is in this land, even if we're not like all, like we are all relations, even if we're not all part of the same country, or we don't all necessarily fly the same banner. And I think that's kind of the theme that we're seeing in Haven, is that it reflects that. It reflects the fact that we're all of these different people, not only as the Woven, who now have elements of like the Ashes over the various years, and the Sages. We have people among the Forgers. We have people among the River Folk. There's probably even a few Woven with the changes of coin.
Oh, absolutely. Well, especially now.
Especially now. And with incorporating these fire spirits that we learned of in the last age. We are celebrating kind of like, we are stronger when we are together. There's a time where we put aside our differences to become part of that group.
So, having described the feast, let's roll plus nearby surpluses, which I think is +1.
It's +1. So I've got an 8 + 1, so it's a 9.
All right. On a 7 and 9, pick one. You and anyone who joins the celebrations gain surplus morale. Within the bounds of the festival, the Arbiter's laws will not be enforced. Within the bounds of the festival, magic follows the laws of another land. At the end of the age, anyone who participates in this festival may change one condition of a ritual in their traditions. We've not been learning a lot of rituals, so that's less exciting for folks. But which do you pick?
So I really do like giving everyone morale, because it seems to be in short supply.
It does seem to be in short supply.
But I also am really interested to see what happens when we get everyone together and the Arbiter's laws cannot be enforced.
What happens when people stop following the rules and start being real?
Yes. Fuck. Yes.
I think that's what I'm gonna go with.
All right. And who is taking part of this in this feast, and where is it happening?
It's gonna take place in Covenant, unless anyone else wants to.
I was suggesting, since we haven't seen it, we haven't seen Covenant since the first episode either, so that's fine with me. But like we haven't showcased Tidehold at all, and it seems like a very grand place that maybe like a feast in relative neutral ground would be interesting.
Yeah. So maybe to reflect sort of the like, you have to tap like local stuff, and we're throwing it. Maybe there's a Woven delegation of like people, maybe some of the militia even, who were at that fight with the changes of coin, who are like, it's almost time for this thing. Listen, we've just fought with you, we've just shed blood with you, we've had our feuds, but like we are united in this rebellion. We would be honored to invite you to this celebration, but like Covenant has this, like a whole bunch of stuff going on in it right now. Can we just go? Do you have a place? And the River can agree to provide a space.
Oh,
you're muted.
Kevin's gone.
Kevin's gone. Kevin's F's in the chat for Kevin, everyone.
Oh, Fungin
dance.
Get some Fungin dance in the chat for Kevin, everyone.
Yeah, we inherited this place this real big shithole. We can host it there. Sure.
Perfect. So I think to make this easy on us, the river folk can use their cool logistics to move your surplus of coin there.
Of coin, yeah.
So we kind of have an idea of what this feast is like. What does Tidehold look like? And let's flip over to the map real quick too, so we can kind of show off where it is. It's this massive structure that's in the middle of a lake that when the tide, this lake, when the water level lowers, you can access it, and when it raises, you have to have a boat to get to it. So, Kevin, what is Tidehold like?
Tidehold is built on a large, like, sort of, not a mountain, but a large, like, rocky hill type structure in the middle of this lake. And like when the water level lowers, then like it reveals like this built path like under the water that people can traverse like on foot, and carts and things can come up. And the architecture on this like large hill is like very imperial architecture. It's very Western European inspired. It's all like white marble, but it's been a couple generations since it's been maintained. It's got a couple of the towers have fallen, and like there's like some scaffolding built up with bamboo on the outside and connecting some of the towers and things like that. Riverfolk have made it their own.
Oh, I love that. What does it look like inside where the feast is happening?
Inside, it's like the whole city has been like sort of given space. The Woven have been given free reign on Tidehold to hold this festival, so the whole city is celebrating. But like I think the main hall is what used to be an imperial church, and it's a long, large hallway. There's a lot of echoing. It's built for like choirs to sing and to get that reverb, and for the good acoustics. But like they've got tables set up in there. They've got like a lot of sort of claimed sales from prizes they've taken like up on the walls to help dampen a lot of that acoustics, because there's a large party in here and everybody's talking. If not, it would like really give everybody a headache. So it's got like flags from the Empire, it's got flags from the Hua, it's got flags from like a couple other countries that we haven't seen within the world, like as big banners, as like both trophies and just for function. And like there's like a large table at the front, which it's just like two tables on the sides of what used to be a tabernacle, but is now just a place. And like that is where like the sort of the heads of houses and like the featured guests are sitting, I suppose. And like there's a large space in the center where people are kind of just mingling, and a couple large fire pits.
Ooh, totally.
Some scaffolding above that, like people are kind of that like young people that are not afraid of falling like 30 feet to their death are hanging out on.
Yeah, lots of people who are not afraid of falling to their deaths, because the river folk are sailors and are used to like getting up there. What do the other delegations here look like? I think let's kind of take a moment and everyone kind of describe who you're sending, who's here, and what characters are, what you look like, what your attitudes are to this place as well. Like it doesn't have to be super long, but like a quick reaction and establishing shot.
Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah, go for it.
So I think like the sages are very excited about this,
Mm-hmm.
because they were on the side of the arbiters and are like, hey, good, I'm glad you finally kind of come to your senses. So they're like, their delegation is I think big, not like intrusive, but they're like, we're showing up, right? We're happy to be here. We're gonna make sure this goddamn thing happens, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And because of that, I think like we have like, so who shows up? I mean, like, kind of the character, like the camera pans and you see like a bunch of people, and I think it's a good amount of familiar faces for the show, but like you see like Hiran, who's now like much like older, she was already like kind of middle-aged, and then 10 years had passed, so she's just kind of hanging out because she's like a politician for Agni Kosha, like the Agni Dharma side, and then you have and then kind of leading a small little platoon of people to protect her is Shuda, who's there, and flanked by the giant armored sage who you saw before, who the Gray Knight is what he's called now. Kind of like walking and chatting next to his friend Abi, who is another like
So
master of the Kosha Dharma. So it's just like a small like companion of like they're bringing all the big guns to this. They're like, we're gonna fucking make sure this happens. And also the statement of seeing Shuda, who's like a captain of the guard for our new capital city, and the Gray Knight, who is like this actual like kind of legend. Two people who are like explicitly meant like trained in combat is a statement, is I think what I'm trying to say.
That is definitely a statement. Yeah.
Mhm.
Alex, who from the sages is here? Is Chimali attending this feast? I think we kind of zoom out and then time passes, you know, like not much, but enough time passes that
She doesn't have to be riding down here on her new
on
friend.
your new friend.
the police
Actually, if you want Chimali to be here, she should be here. But if not, I have other things for her to be doing.
Yeah,
too.
I was gonna do somebody else. I think I am
Perfect.
gonna have one of the fire spirit forgers be here.
Ooh.
She's like an older woman. I mean, she was when she died. Now she's like a spirit. And she has kind of like a kindly face with like smile lines that you can see like in like that white fire around her eyes. And according to my Google search for Nahwal names, her name is Kalatzin, which means froggy.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's perfect.
So I think she's got kind of just a lightly frog look to her, like a a nice round body and round cheeks.
Perfect. Simon, who from the Woven is here? Like you got to set this up, so
yeah, Shochi is here. Shochi, the current ambassador, or the ambassador playbook, but also I think the big like I am traveling to the other worlds for you member of our faction. She is I think this time wearing very ritualistic like heraldry style clothing. So we're going with that kind of the same traditional dress that I think I described like way back in episode 1. This like black shoulder cut flowing thing. Here she wears her mask, her like half menpo on the shoulder.
right.
Fuck yeah.
So it's now like the armor piece again, even though she's above ground. And in addition to, I think because the season has changed a little bit, and also for the festival, she's got this really resplendent kind of quilted cloak that she wears like wrapped over the front and then thrown around the back, that has all of these different, it's like someone took 100 different weepils and took patches of each of them and blended them all together, and then trimmed it with Quetzal feathers.
Oh.
Ooh, I like that.
Very cool.
Very good. Vib, Rue, are you ready? Sorry, Rue, are you ready with the act?
Phoebe is sadly looking in as a ghost.
Oh
No,
Oh, Vib's ghost is in the mech. We established that.
She's got far.
Like if she's looking in as a ghost, the mech is just like. Oh, let me know. I'll Iron Giant this.
Don't Superman and I'll cry.
I am already starting to cry, so it was a mistake. Let's not do that.
No, Phoebe was chilling in a mech somewhere.
But who from the Ashes is here?
So a few people from the Ashes are here. So the Ashes, over the turning of the ages, their council increased from 3 to 7. And
Mhm.
part of that reason is the leader that's here, Jahi, led kind of a soft rebellion, just kind of protesting. It wasn't anything super violent, but it was it made it clear that there were obviously problems within the Ashes, and Veeb was one of the people that was like, okay, we gotta handle this because obviously something is wrong and we need to fix this. And they were brought in as a council member, and they increased their number. That was one of the things they wanted, was that
Mhm.
they felt like people weren't being represented. So he came in, and he is another young leader. He's 13. He led this rebellion at 11. His family is mostly here, though. His parents were a part of it, but he was the one that kind of brought more people into, kind of like pulled people together. So, but his
Yeah.
parents were kind of like the forebearers of this idea, and they're still like around. So he was also being mentored by the third council member, who I've never mentioned, but like that was their mentor. But Veeb had taken over, or was starting to take over as another mentor.
As the new council member, yeah.
So he is here with like 2 other council members, that they're just 2 other people, and a few members of like the little rebellion he created, and just other village folks, like other Ashes that were just there. They've kind of brought in like a procession of like 20, like 10, 15 people.
So like are they still the younger members of the Ashes? Like are we, is it cool teens, or is it like cool millennials, you know?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, that's interesting. He's the youngest that is in the group, and there's like one other like 20-year-old person, but everyone else is kind of the older group.
Mhm.
I guess his parents are there as well, so they're a part of that
Okay.
group. And he is tall, kind of wiry, like muscular, but not really beefy or anything. His outfit is pretty simple. He's got like a vest that has like a wrap top kind of look, that's very form-fitting on top, and then kind of pulls away from his body. And then he has kind of similar to what Veeb used to have, like pants that can be made like a skirt, but he folds it up into more of like a pant style look.
Mhm.
And he's made it fancier with adornments. So he has like around his waist, like a silver belt that almost looks like jewelry. So it has like a bunch of coins that are like metal coins that are wrapped around his waist. And on top of that, if people are familiar with Empire fashion, he's actually taken armaments and like different armor style things, but they're all Empire based. Most of the Ashes have Empire things that they had when they were subsumed and like had to assimilate into the group. So either most of it has been repurposed. That was Veeb's thing, was always like, oh, we shouldn't throw it away, but we should just repurpose it into our own stuff. But there are people who have kept them as they are because they're like, well, it's useful. It's not like they didn't know what they were doing. They made armament that was useful, and he's one of those people that keeps some Empire things and wears them like proudly.
Damn.
Ooh,
Yeah.
very cool.
I do love that, like, a little bit, because we have been talking a lot about, like, kind of rejecting and going back to our own roots, and I love this movement of, like, well, we have it, we're doing it, and it's a real kind of
Yeah,
secondary.
that would be the one influence that this council member had on Veeb, as
Mhm.
is why she kind of went into getting that Imperial mech. Mostly she was into connecting with the past, but this is why she went after the mechs, because she was like, well, they would be useful, I guess.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
Absolutely. That's so cool.
That's and everyone else looks pretty fancy. They're the only ones that look a little more like I'm ready for a fight.
Awesome. And Kevin, who from the Riverfolk is heading up this? I mean, I know everyone's kind of here, but
Yeah. I think there's two folks that I want to bring in, and first is Ironcloud over Storm Mountain. I think was their full name. She is a slight woman, sort of dark brown ochre skin, shaved head. No, after the battle, she's shaved her head, but she comes in like full, what passes for like Riverfolk dress uniform, as like a captain's uniform. It's I think it's like almost an out eye, and but with like some padding on the shoulders, like some pauldrons almost, and then like this large Vietnamese type crown across the top. And she carries on her waist, around her waist, she's got a sash on which hangs a Mempo mask of the Woven, a hammer from the Forgers, a quiver from one of the Ashes, and she's got like on her shoulders, she's like standing behind this tabernacle. She's like watching everybody come in here and watching everybody like mingle, and she's standing with this large ceremonial sword of the sages. She's just really flaunting all of her
just like
trophies
all
here.
her trophies. Yeah.
She wants everybody to know.
Damn.
And while she's doing that, while she's like being like the kind of lame badass, this very stereotypical badass person, we get a shot of like sort of panning out from this temple and like the city. We get somebody walking in with the crowds into the city from this exposed path in the lake. We see like this large straw reed hat. We get a shot from top down. We see like some smoke from a pipe, and we watch them walking in. We hear like a bird crow, and like the face looks up, and we see that it is a familiar face of Win Hide, kind of entering with the general populace to come celebrate the victory.
So it is winter in Haven. It is mild here. I think Haven has cool winds and is buffered by the mountains to its south and warmed by the breeze coming off of the ocean. But even as winter descends, a chill settles in the air. An anticipation is here as well, a sense of not just change, but transition. There is the palpable sense that we are sitting on the cusp of a moment. You know how sometimes when you look outside, you can tell that you're seeing the sky the way you've seen it for the last time, and that the next day will be a new chapter in your life or someone else's. That hangs here as thick as the scent of stews and roasting fruit and charred meats. And also at this feast are Tispal and his cohort of loyal lieutenants who have sort of demanded admission at the gates and been let in. I think also here is someone we've not seen, a mountain of a woman who is wearing dress armor. It is lightweight, but kind of carved like a carved cuirass of bone, and I think those familiar with the structure of it will recognize the dinosaur bones and scales used in its construction. She identifies herself as Rain of the Thunderlords.
Oh, fuck yeah.
She is the only one of them here, but her presence is more than enough for an entire delegations. The feasting that happens is joyous. I think it has that sort of manic energy of something is about to happen, you know, and every moment you can spend eating or raising a glass of what do people drink in Haven? Is it wine? Is it sangria? Is it
We gotta have some
juice?
hot chocolate, right?
Is it?
I
Yeah,
have
oh,
no idea what
definitely
Yeah,
hot
we
chocolate.
Yeah.
I would like to know what the woven bring, because I have an idea what the river folk have like on hand to offer as well.
And I think Alex hit the nail on the head. It's absolutely like a hot chocolate.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of if we had the time to do like a microscope game of this, I imagine we would have some events where like the forgers and the woven have like a lot of overlap because it speaks to both of our experiences. But I think that that's super cool. Like you also see that happen in the real world, right? That
Yeah.
things spread.
Yeah.
But I think we have like a drinking chocolate and also like a is a cactus liqueur a thing?
I mean, isn't that
Isn't that mezcal?
Mezcal.
Yeah,
Well,
mezcal.
agave is like
Oh,
kind of like
yeah.
a cactus. I think it's in
Yeah.
the cactus family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, tequila is it comes from Guadalajara, so like if we're
Yeah.
sticking to that, like that absolutely we got that.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's yeah.
No wonder what's about to happen is going to happen here.
It's colloquially referred to as like cactus water
Mhm.
in whatever language it is. Yeah.
So I think for a moment, everyone is enjoying this feast, kind of to prolong that inevitable change, that intangible moment that marks passage into a new way of being. But that inevitability can only be forestalled for so long, and there's a quiet moment. A quiet moment in the feast as the delegations have all intermingled and everyone has kind of settled down when there is a booming voice that rings out. Viditia, what does Pazuso say?
Yes, the Grey Knight.
The Grey Knight.
I think like as you're kind of leading up, you see like Ubby and like the Grey Knight kind of like sitting and talking and chatting, and they're like, they're it's clearly like Ubby's like, dude, you gotta calm down, like it's okay, it's fine, like it's and then the Grey Knight's just like slamming down, and then you just hear, but it's my sword. Just out.
How loud?
Yeah.
Out loud.
Love it.
Out
Yeah,
loud.
It
Out proud.
cuts through.
Loud enough.
I think we get a shot of like if I could take a director's.
Yeah, please.
chair
I mean,
here.
that's what PBTA games are all about. We're
Yeah. I think we get that like echo in this room. Like while there is like sails to like pad it out, there's still like the natural shape of the room carries it, and we get the shot across this big crowd in the room, this hall of Ironclad standing and like looking up at this large figure from the Thunderlords, trying to do a flirt, trying to like they have like stopped posturing and like just went up to them like, hey, how's it going? Oh, good. Being super forward, and they hear this echo through, and like they kind of just look over their shoulder and like kind of like rub their shoulders with like the sword over it, and like kind of the Zuzo probably sees them smirk.
God. Oh, okay. I fucking hate this.
So
It goes
good.
very well. Most are content riding on velociraptors, or pachycephalosauruses. But I must have a triceratops. Explaining
how
the
Oh, let me just ask this explicitly: how forward can I be as Ironclad in this discussion?
let's keep keep it classy.
Yeah. Okay. Classy.
Kevin.
I think we're shooting for roughly PG-13.
PG-13. Okay. Um.
A soft
Yeah.
R. I think we get one F-bomb.
Ironclad's like, yes. Tell me more about all the things you love to ride.
She like you can tell it's
Uh-huh.
like she's very tall and it's still going over her head. And
Ironclad
she
doesn't
like
mind.
goes into at length with all the excitement of like a 7-year-old who has been cooped up all summer reading books about dinosaurs. Like just tells you about the different dinosaurs and what it's like to ride them and how she, I think that's what's happening when
Yeah.
Nope.
what is the Grey Knight doing, having caused all this interruption?
I think the Grey Knight, I want to bring this up properly, I guess, because I'm trying to think about the ramification of it. But the Grey Knight, I think at this point, like, just, like, crashes, or, like, like, smacks the table really loudly and just lifts themselves up out of their chair. And you can, like, and they, like, tower over, like, everybody who's sitting and just enjoying the feast. And I think, like, we'll start to, like, angrily walk in a direction as, like, again, like, Abby, who's more of a gentle person, is like, no, it's like, we're here to celebrate. It's okay. Like, you can kind of hear. And we'll, like, go... Well, basically, I think the Grey Knight's a little rude right now. Well, maybe, like...
Right now?
Well, maybe, like, kind of push...
Mhm.
What was her name? I'm sorry.
Rain
Thank you.
Rain
We'll push
of the Thunderlords.
Yeah. We'll push Rain aside and like just is like ready to just is like, how can you all let this insult participate in a moment of peace? You took my sword through force and tried to kill me and my people.
I won your sword. You recall when I took it from you when you were on your back and I walked out of your temple with it dragging behind me? 10 years I've had this sword. This sword knows me better than you now.
Oh my God.
Oh!
I'm this sword's daddy now.
I think it quickly cuts. You see Shura like kind of get up, is like uh-oh. Like, oh God. You see like the Grey Knight like clenches up, is like, it feels like it's like he's like right about to strike. He goes, and of the other trophies you carry, huh? You took those just as, you won those in conquest, I assume?
Yes. Just like I conquered the changers of coin. Just like we beat you. Just like we made the arbiters come to us on their knees.
Oh my
Oh.
God.
Damn.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
Do we not stand in a symbol of our people's victory over the Empire, which we also defeated?
This is nearing.
Look at these.
blasphemy.
All of these are our trophies, and like pointing to each of the sails.
Oh my God. Your people are no better than the empire that's conquered you. Give it back.
Take it.
give it back.
I think like people start to make a circle just
Yeah.
naturally.
And
Yeah,
I think this is
circle
where we
time.
switch over to the rules that Legacy Free from the Yoke uses for dueling.
Wait, but what
Um,
does Bazooza's idle stance look like?
Oh yeah, everyone should describe their Street Fighter idle stance.
Let's see. This is definitely like a.
Oh, the big Hulkin, yeah.
Good.
Especially without a sword.
There's just an empty space where the sword should be.
When you face down a matched foe in single combat, gain hold equal to your might score, +1 for each that is true. You're better equipped, you are avenging a grudge, and the audience favors you. I don't think I think the audience maybe favors Ironcloud, since it
It is our house.
your house in the middle of your lake,
In the middle of the street.
in the middle of our stream.
Hey, it's
Hey.
gonna
So I will let you all figure out who's better equipped and who's avenging a grudge.
Is it the wait?
If,
No, it's
if that's even true.
Who's better equipped and who's
Do you have armor?
avenging a grudge?
It feels like the Grey Knight might be avenging a grudge.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. Do I have armor? I haven't tapped any resource to give the Great Knight armor.
Yeah, I don't know that aside from the Thunderlords, anyone might have brought their armor to a feast,
Yeah.
Right.
to a feast fight.
So in that case, I would
Mhm.
argue that Ironclad is better equipped.
Oh, 100%. I wasn't going to argue that. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
You have a sword. You have my sword.
It's been my sword.
But I am definitely avenging a grudge.
100%.
Good.
Alright. Does the audience favor Ironclad? Ironclad's kind of a bastard.
But Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong. So are the Riverfolk.
The Riverfolk military shit. But
Yeah,
only the Riverfolk that we've seen.
only
every single Riverfolk we've met so far.
or heard about like off camera. Oh, they're the
Hey,
aside
Lone and Lien are really good though. They were.
Yes, that's why they're sent away from the Riverfolk proper. They're like, get these bums out of here.
All right.
So,
Yeah, that's
it sounds like
equal to might score. Let me just get my notebook out real quick.
sounds like
I have-
Ironclad gets +2 on top of your might, and the Grey Knight gets +1 on top of their might.
Perfect.
As a duel, you and your opponents take it in turns to describe your actions and pick a statement from the list below. Keep taking turns until the duel is over. And now there is a long list. I'm going to read through these sort of all once. I think we might even have more than one duel happening here. So we're just going to read the long list once, and then we'll go through what they're all like as they come up. So the statements are: I desperately hunker behind my defenses. Do you press the attack or recover your breath? I charge in heedless of your attacks. I take a flesh wound, yield or take a flesh wound, and yield means ending the duel. I try to put space between us. Do you sprint heedlessly after me or advance carefully? You can gain one hold by testing. I test your defenses, fall back, or reveal your full capabilities. I feint and you falter, yield or look foolish in front of our audience, and I make an appeal for reason. Yield or show how this must end in blood. And you may spend one hold to pick. I get my weapon inside your guard, yield or take a flesh wound. I strike at your armaments, yield or I knock away a weapon or a piece of your armor. I take advantage of your existing wounds, yield or I either turn a flesh wound into a heavy wound or a heavy wound into a deadly wound. And finally, I discover a second wind and step down my most severe wound, yield or tell me what you most fear I'll do next.
Mhm. So who goes first?
Who goes first is the, I think you take it in turns?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I leave that to you to decide who strikes the first blow.
Let's see,
okay?
how honorable are you taking this duel?
I
Should we get a moment to
with
prepare?
I think with this fever pitch that just happened, I think the Pazuzu just fucking
Yeah.
just goes for it.
Goes in.
Is ready to just try and knock you cold.
Right.
All right. So Make your pick your statement.
I'm just gonna do. I charge in heedless of your attack. I take a flesh wound, yield, or take a flesh wound. Because I imagine Ironclad is also smart enough and capable enough to understand that I am just recklessly charging you.
I take a
Ironclad, you take a flesh wound, so you both have one flesh wound. Ironclad, go ahead and take a pick.
Okay. Real quick, I think Ironclad gets like. Fictionally, I just want to show off that they're an outsider, and they are different than the other folk, river folk, and they mutter a small incantation, and they suddenly have like a couple ghostly, like one. They have another arm that is of fire, another arm of stone, another arm of wind.
Whoa.
Like, and they use them to like wield the sword. And, like some of the other river folk are kind of taken aback by this. Like they might not have seen this.
Yeah, maybe the audience is like, "What should we have favored Ironclad?"
Yeah, exactly. Now we have regrets. I think Ironclad with theirs.
Everyone's got their problematic
Yeah,
fave.
exactly.
Ironclad is just so.
I test your defenses. Fall back or reveal your capabilities.
Oh, Zeus is not trying to fall back at all. I guess so what is it? So I just fall back or reveal your full capabilities. What do you mean? by that?
Like show what you're capable of. Like you
okay.
know, it's that
What
like
have you learned in the last 10 years?
Oh, right. Okay. So I think okay. Narrative, like, so, narratively, I think like Pazuzu doesn't run or doesn't holds his ground different than our last duel. And you see his training. The audience doesn't know all this because this was testing mechanics in a session 0, but Pazuzu is technically a person of the fire, an Agni Dharma, but has been spending a lot of time with Obi, who is of the Kosha Dharma. So his like arms turn into bronze and just catch the sword. And catch another one of your, because I'm sure like you're just kind of poking at me, right? So it's just like I just like am holding and blocking your attacks, like, motherfucker, you're not getting away from me this time.
What
kind of?
And let's cut away from the duel for a moment elsewhere in the feast, because this is, I mean, it's happening all over Tidehold,
Yeah.
Like it's not one giant table where everyone is. I don't think. Shoshi, what are you up to?
So Shoshi is, I think, shaking hands with the river folk, and kind of drifting. I imagine there's probably like a banquet table, right? Like a really long one.
Extraordinary.
Dozens
long.
of them probably. And so she's like passing between the different tables and like shaking hands with people and like, oh, and do tell me, like, how are things? I actually have a move that I rolled a while ago.
Yes.
Which I think now would be a good time to talk about, which is...
Let's do it.
I have long memories. When I enter a new court, I roll plus lore. On a 7 to 9, I name one secret of the leaders and an enemy of theirs.
Ooh.
On a 10 plus, you've helped one of those parties in a major way. Say how. Unfortunately, I did not get the 10 plus, but I did get a 7 to 9.
Well, that's pretty good still. So, name a secret.
Kevin, is there any secrets that you want to throw out that you've been thinking about
For the
river folk, especially for Tidehold?
For Tidehold.
Tidehold is probably the most
Oh no, I've had the secret forever. I've been sitting on this. In the records, deep in Tidehold, are the manifests of the counterparts to the river folk who were the Imperial fleet, that of the same like sort of ethnic background. They kept them. They know where not all the people over a certain age of what are now known as the Ashes were killed. Some of them were captured, and we know where they are.
Oh, damn!
What the fuck?
Oh, they've just been sitting on that.
Name an enemy of theirs.
Holy shit!
Again, reminder: not all of the river folk are bastards.
Yeah, just most of them.
just most of them. And name an enemy of theirs, Shochi.
It's got to be someone from the ashes, right?
Hmm.
There's got to be someone who either is aware of it or who suspects it.
Ooh.
You know what it is? We got,
I
we've got, like,
wonder-
a flotilla somewhere out there, a prison flotilla.
Yeah, like, so the idea is like there are ashes that are somewhere else, right? And
Mhm.
they're like either being kept prisoner or they're like they just got cut off from everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I think.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I wonder if the enemy are those ashes
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Ooh.
who are like
Uh,
had formed some kind of coalition that are like, you could have helped us, and you didn't.
Wait, Rue, didn't you say that there were ashes who were aligned with the
the Hua.
like, the-
Yeah, there are
Oh,
ashes
damn.
that are aligned with the Hua. I have a quick character for that, but there were a few that like separated out, and they were just like, oh, well, I guess. Well, they were meant to like just go there as like allies or ambassadors, and then ended up getting like pulled into the group. They would have been people who did not want to fall under the Empire, so they would have gone there before the Empire like completely took over the Ashes, so they would have been like the loudest against the Ashes being a part of the Empire.
Yeah. So forget what I just said. It's that. It's there's a group of ashes who went off, got caught up with the Hua because they didn't want to lose their culture. They didn't want to die. They didn't want to be destroyed in this civil struggle, and decided that siding with this one aspect of the Empire was the only way to preserve themselves. And the Hua have such a hatred for the river folk that, like, naturally, these ashes are going to be like, screw these guys. Whenever we get a chance, we're going to come back and we're going to kill them
So
or do something to
And
them.
they're of the generation that the others were taken of, so they remember them. They know they're out there somewhere. They just can never find out. And
Right, exactly.
So
so if they get that secret, they have like another surplus of people and like some powers and maybe some rituals. They can
right.
activate.
That just to clarify, there's like secret ashes somewhere that are aligned with the Hua, and then there's also some that are imprisoned on a flotilla.
Mhm.
All
I
right.
think that's what we're getting.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very
geez.
And so the enemies
Oh, I
are
love
the
this.
secret ashes who are
Like
with
the head
Hua.
political dissidents, those that were deemed
Yeah.
too powerful of a threat, but like couldn't be killed off because they were too powerful. Like he
Right.
has leverage.
No, I don't worry. I have integrated that all into the background lore now. Good.
Fuck yeah.
Seamless.
That's good because we only have 2 sessions to close it out.
Yeah.
It's fine. We're gonna close this out big
We're gonna
time.
do it.
Gonna blow
Anyway,
it
so
up.
Shochi's been doing that, and like I think learning some of that information, either like she had learned some of it before, or like has been trying to like slowly eke that information out through people, through drink and food and like celebration.
So I mean, if
But
we want to say
in-
that Shochi knows where it is, I'm cool with that.
I mean, maybe. I don't know if she's there yet, but I think the shot that we keep getting is like she's like clinking glasses with someone, and then she like in the reflection of the glass has Tizpal's location in the reflection on the like tumbler or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so Tizpal is here too, the leader of the Woven, and so she keeps like glimpsing him out of the corner of her eye or whatever, and he doesn't seem to notice where she is.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
He is in fact currently calling for the execution of the heads of the changers of coin, and saying that their people should be driven from the land. They were a rotten, corrupting influence. They must not be allowed to find root or purchase anywhere, and banishment is even too good for them. But he's feeling peaceful. He's I think a little in his cups. Not so much that he's like, swaying, but he's emboldened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to bring other people in here. So who? Jahi is how old?
13.
13.
Oh,
Okay.
I like have a little.
He would absolutely try to get a drink.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Because he's like, I'm a
You know-
leader, why not?
Yeah.
People say I look old for my age. It's-
I
There's
think
no
he-
Among the
U.S.
actions,
government
yeah.
saying you have to be 21.
yeah.
Yeah, I also think, like, he wouldn't see what the taboo is of having a drink.
I mean,
I
that's a
think-
question, real quick. Culturally, do we have an age of consent, like regarding drinking and drugs and things like that?
I
Because
mean,
the ashes are
probably.
a faction of like very powerful children.
I think it's probably in there somewhere. You know, I don't think it's like 21 because that's very puritanical. But I think there's a point at which you're judged to be like, okay, you can take responsibility for yourself. And I
Mm.
think that everyone kind of knows it's definitely not when you're 13.
Yeah.
That is the worst time to do any of that.
The prefrontal
Bad-
cortex doesn't even
bad
form
plan.
completely.
He's like, I'm sorry, I don't hear that.
Yeah.
Just set earmuffs for a second, right?
Yeah.
But I think regardless, Shochi's been gathering like very slowly, like picking up, like, oh, come walk with me. Like, let me introduce you to this person. And she's been doing that. So she's accumulated, I think, everyone else's face characters
Yeah.
for each of these factions. And like, oh, it happens
Yahi and yeah.
that she has Jahi and Kalatzin and maybe even Nguyen in like this little cluster, and it's like this little circle kind of outside of the edges of the party where she is just like swirling her glass, and like Tispal is very very cinematically framed, like yelling everything, gesticulating on a stage. I'm honored to share our time together. This festival means a great deal to me and my people, and I'm honored to have the aid of all of you in various endeavors, most notably our conflict against the changes of coin, whether or not you all agree with the actions that were taken. Rest assured, I did everything I could to maintain peace. Now that we have laid down our arms for a moment, perhaps we can turn our attention to greater works.
To greater works, says Kalatine. And she's got a little alcohol in sort of like probably like a gourd pod thing, and she
fuck yeah.
pours it into her mouth, which is made of fire. So like because it's a
Cool.
very strong alcohol, it like just like goes down into her and then ignites, and she like
I
burns a
love
little bit
it.
brighter.
Oh my god.
Oh, I love it.
That's awesome. Jahi has a non-alcoholic drink that they begrudgingly it kept getting taken away whenever they tried to get like an actual drink, and they're like, fine, whatever. It's better to be aware of my surroundings anyway. That's what Phoebe always says. So they cheers with whoever's next to them. I think they try to like cheers with everybody so they get like as close to everyone as possible.
That's cute.
And now I would like to.
He is dead. That's so intense.
And now I would like to raise a toast, says Tispal. We are here because of the strength of the woven. We are fabric, and for too long have you all spit on us. For too long have you all ignored us as cast-offs. We are not respected in your cities, in your homes. But look at what has happened to those who have disrespected us. And he kind of gestures, and one of his lieutenants, I think, holds up a bag, and very clearly inside is a head.
Oh
Is
my
there
god.
like red
Ah.
hair coming out of?
Do not worry. This is much too pleasant an occasion to display this gruesome trophy. I would not upset your dinner with such talk, but know that there are those among the changers of coin who have been punished for their treason. Those who were taken prisoner in the battle have been executed. My orders. Shochi. My cunning spy mistress, Our Lady of Quetzals. I know you are up to something. I know that your little sparrows are plotting something. My hawks see more than you think. Whatever you are plotting, no, I forgive you. You have performed so admirably. And he kind of gestures around expansively with his like goblet.
Friend,
Joji turns to the rest of the crew and just kind of bows her head just a little bit so that you can't really see from a distance like what she's saying or doing, and she like puts her glass forward. We all represent various interests, but I know that we are unified in the desire to see Haven united, especially in the face of great adversity and outside danger. When the time comes, can I trust you to weave with me?
Of course. I will always weave with you, as you will remember whose hand holds the loom.
Ah!
Good line.
Yo!
That's very good.
She like looks back at the rest of the group, at the like the small group of factions that she has together, and she's like, "Do you toast to new beginnings?" And she's like looking very meaningfully at everyone who is assembled, like the like the other factions who are not woven.
Jahi just smirks because he's definitely feeling like an undercurrent of something else going on. So he's just like, he like smirks back and cheers.
What I'm angling for is my playbooks next mark, which is outsider. No, I'm already an outsider. It's rogue. Mark, when you seek allies to bring a corrupt leader down.
Oh, nice. Sorry, were you seeking me as well? I got distracted by the chat.
Yes, that's.
Oh, what was the last thing you said? Forgive me.
It was like, can I toast all like when we
is it-
toasted to new beginnings? Did you
Yes.
mean it? You know.
Nice, yeah. And I think I will say, Shochi, stories of you have been told among the foragers as one of our friends for many years now. I am hurt that you would doubt our commitment.
It never hurts to ask. And
Well,
assuming she
never
has
need
like the
to.
approval from others, she turns back to Tispal, and I think this time she is like bringing herself up to her full height. She unslings the cloak. Go ahead. Something you want to say?
Can Win, sort of, I think Win is there as witness, not as like one of the invited, like actually the interaction. I think Win just comes up as like a stranger and like kind of like comes up, brings a drink up, or brings a refill for Shochi as they are, and like sort of just very calmly in their ear says, if if you have seriously considered this action, I think, is this in sight for these eyes?
Ooh. She takes the drink, she chases it real quick and puts it down on a table, unslings the cloak. I've considered my choices for a very long time, for the last 10 years, where I would have spilled blood. Perhaps we have both seen things from different perspectives. Hold my cloak.
Yo!
And she turns to Tizpal. Tizpal, your rule has caused strife and anger and bloodshed, and you dishonor our guests on this day of celebration and holiness. I invoke the right of thorns, challenge for ownership and rule of the Woven. I deem you no longer fit to lead, and I will take your command by my own hand, if I must. And she unsheathes her dagger.
Ooh.
I think we see him turn, kind of cast off his like very long jacket, and immediately draw his own dagger as well in response. And that, friends, is where we are going to go to break. So, yeah, if you want to see what happens, you have to come back in 5 to 10 minutes, probably closer to 10, because we all have filthy human needs. Whether you need to get fluids out of your body or put fluids into your body, this is the perfect time to go and do that. Or solids, either way, whatever you got to do with fluids, solids, out, in, we're not going to judge you. But this is the time to do it. Go to the lobby, have yourself a snack, grab a drink, stretch, move your filthy human flesh suit so that it does not hate you later. And we'll see you all after our break. We're going to run an ad. It's going to happen after we go to break. So leave Twitch up. You don't even have to watch it for you to support the channel. Just stick around, and we'll see you all in a little while. Baja Blast is fuel for gamers, which I hope all of you have had, because we are serious gamers here. So if your Baja has been blasted and your game has been fueled, let us get down to business. We are not, however, trying to defeat the Hun. We are instead trying to have 2 duels as Shochi squares off against Tizpal and Ironcloud. Elsewhere in Tidehold, Ironcloud and the Grey Knight are fighting one another. But that's not where we come back into this scene. When we come back from break, Lynn, you are in the northeast of Haven.
Yeah.
You are in the fields outside of Mahasmasanam, and you feel the ground rumbling and hear the trumpets of the mammoths. And this is sort of happening after the feast. It's one of those, we're kind of jumping around in time here. This is after the feast has happened. But kind of simultaneous with it. You see the Thunder Riders, not the Thunder Riders. You see the Tusk Lords, the riding mammoths come charging into Haven. It is a party armed all for war. What do you do?
Let me go over to my character moves real quick.
Mm-hmm.
The Vagabond, they're a little bit new here.
They are a little bit new. So the Vagabond, just for those who have not seen this character before, these are sort of the free and independent travelers, like the outcasts, who get to see things more from like a personal level. The leaders see the world, but it's colored by that view. These people see things from a truer perspective, from the commoner's perspective.
I think Wynn will try to hail them.
Yes. They ride at you, weapons armed. What do you do to try to hail them?
Hold palms out, like, greetings, friends. I wish Do you wish to trade? I have plenty of wares. I've recently acquired some rare finds, if you are interested.
And they cut you down. Win.
Yeah.
You are in the jungle, the deep jungle in the south. Not the deep jungle, but you are near the jungle in the southeast. If we cut back over to the map, I'll show you exactly where.
It's cut over.
You are here. The Hua have landed. They have set up a second camp. This is a smaller fleet, but a much more heavily armed one. And mixed in among the soldiers of the Hua are Imperial troops. They haven't seen you yet. What do you do?
Win will sort of hunker down, hide in the brush, and start slinking back, trying to find a path to find the way to Covenant.
As you run, you hear a cry go out. You've been spotted. Arrows start to fly. Win. You are near the great rift created by the Leviathan. You see the ruins of the marbled pillars sinking into the ocean, lifeless and no longer harming the land as it once had. But now the land is running wild. The power is running wild. Like an animal that has been wounded, the land is lashing out. What do you do?
Win dives into the ocean to challenge the actions of the rainbow serpent.
Mm.
And challenge
Very good.
Its status as a serpent.
Win, you are watching Shochi and Tispal duel. What do you think about this fight?
Win wishes they could give some last piece of advice on caution against such rash actions, but they know that if people knew who they were, really, they might not take that to heart, and they realize they cannot judge, like, due to their own past. And that also people are agents of their own, and they need to act of their own accord, make their own mistakes.
The stars are in your eyes as you watch. Shochi. Tispal turns and faces you. I do not think either of you is better equipped than the other. Tispal came, in equipped for a fight as because he fancies himself a warrior leader, but he's not fighting with any of his weapons. It's just dagger, the Right of Thorns.
Or are they?
Or
Because
do
I think we have a slight interruption as Kalatzin approaches over to Shochi, because the duel hasn't formally been started yet, right?
It has not been.
As a forger, which I just remembered my own world building, they have the little tattoo under their eye of their maker's mark.
Oh yeah.
And Kalatzin doesn't have one because she's like a spirit. But as she looks at you, slowly it comes through white flames burning through the orange of her cheek, a little feathered Archaeopteryx wing, stylized on there. And she says, let me give you something very important to help you see clearly in the days to come, as you will surely live to see them. And she reaches up and she just has little flame hair, a little bit thinning out. But as she reaches up to her forehead, out from it of the flames manifests her clear thought crown that she wore in life, the braid of chains, entangled in her hair, and there's a large diamond shape centrally that was hanging down sort of over her forehead, and she reaches up and pulls the chain off and sort of tosses it to you, and it is like made of this living flame as it arcs through the air, spinning, and then as it, goes to land in your hand in slow motion, we see that it has turned into a chain, and the diamond is like a sharp obsidian.
Oh.
That's so fucking cool.
So that's her
so
gift.
you're
for you.
definitely better equipped. That's a +1.
That is regal and meditative.
I'd say you're also the crowd favorite. And avenging a grudge too, right?
Yes.
So gain your might +3.
So, fun fact.
Yes.
As the ambassador, Shochi has a move, razor-tongued. A duel is as much a matter of psychology as it is brawn. When you duel someone, gain hold equal to your cunning instead of your might.
Fuck yeah.
Whenever your opponent deals you a heavy wound, they must also reveal a secret they'd rather you or the audience didn't know.
Ooh. I love that.
Ah!
I love that.
Oh, it's so good.
That's very good. So whenever you spend hold, that's what. Good.
So I have 6 hold.
All right. And
Six
Tispal has 3.
Oh no. Tispal.
However,
Goodbye, Tispal.
I think Tispal kind of seeing this says, so I see you. I see your sparrows circling. Let's see how they fare against my hawks. And he rushes at you, but as he does, from throughout, because there's a woven delegation here that is throwing the feast. So throughout Tidehold, Tispal's loyal warriors throw off their woven cloaks, draw swords, and start attacking.
Oh, damn!
It's going down.
Oops.
Holy shit.
Wait, attacking who?
Everyone.
Everyone?
Oh, fuck.
Oh my god.
We set
Double
up the
coup?
wing. We established this last time.
Wait, we did.
I know.
Everyone who is not loyal to Tispal,
Oops.
which there are a few people. There are quite a few people here who join with his forces. I think there are many of the river folk that have been fighting alongside him that join in, drawing their own weapons.
Wait, when did we establish this?
The Arbiter's laws are not upheld here.
Oh my god, yeah.
We established this when Quatemok fought with Win back in the jungles when the coalition came together to fight the Changers of Coin.
I think he's absolutely the martyr that everyone keeps bringing up on the Woven side, loyal to Tispal. Is like, he died for us. He died doing this. And you want to throw this all away? You want to spit in the face of that?
Holy shit.
Wow.
Remember, Wynn delivered their belongings.
Yeah.
And,
So,
I never mind. I lost.
yes?
I literally had something I lost. I had.
Wait, the sages are gonna fucking get murdered.
You've declared the Rite of Thorns. Shochi, go ahead and take the first move.
Okay. So she slowly strides forward, even in the midst of the chaos. It's that bit in the Pirates of the Caribbean where the ship's blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
As the guys just walking. So people are slow-mo throwing off their cloaks and drawing makwawits and starting to just hack up people, and she's just slowly advancing on Tispal with a clear thought crown and her spirit vein mask and the knife clutched in that rear grip. So it's the jawbone handle and the pointed obsidian point.
Mm-hmm.
And she just walks up and I think I'm going to spend one of my holds right off the bat where she faints once or twice and then just goes for a sweeping kick under Tispal's leg and then uses that to strike at his knife hand. So what I'm doing is striking at your armaments, yield, or I knock away a weapon or a piece of your armor.
All right. I do not.
Good.
I do not yield. That knife goes tumbling out, but it matters little. Tispal gains a hold. I faint and you falter. Yield or look foolish in front of our audience. Tispal moves as though to recover it, and in that moment where there is an opening, his arm like comes around quickly and just grips you.
Yeah.
You're able to like escape from his grasp, but I think if you don't yield, you must. It's up to you to figure out how you look foolish coming out of this like chokehold, throat slam situation.
I will look foolish by I think he like grabs me and like lifts me up, and then hucks me like head over heels, like over one of the banquet tables, just like spilling food and drink all over her. So like, even with the regal crown and everything, like she just looks like she's being thrown around like a rag doll briefly, because he's much stronger than Shochi. Shochi is -1 might. She's not very powerful, but she gets thrown.
Iron Cloud. Iron Cloud is towering over the fallen form of the Grey Knight.
Iron Cloud is standing on the body. The head is the sword is
right.
like lodged in the neck of the Grey Knight.
Oh yeah. And I'm assuming now, like, even the Woven that are, or like, and the River folk that are here are like in on the coup that's happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Well, has it like rippled out to this point?
It's rippling out. Yeah. It's,
yeah. So like I think like Shuda like was already like looks like there's a brawl happening, and then it got more serious, and then I think like officially now like all the sages who are in this room are like, oh fuck.
As
one
river
for the
folk
episode.
around them start like drawing and advancing.
I think so if there's a bunch of river folk now, and especially like a crowd around Ironclad, so Shuda is dressed for battle, which means that she's like fully decked out in like kind of traditional kuchiburi garb, but also has like armor on it. I think I am, because we didn't do a proper gear up section, but I do want to tap
absolutely
one of my resources, since to give her the tag of toughness, to give her a little bit of armor. Probably wealth. I mean, they were gearing up for this. It's like a fun, so they probably consolidated and use it. So I'm gonna tap my wealth. But if like a bunch of people are kind of closing in on them, I have a move as a bogatir. It's called Carry the Weight. When the need is dire, you can call on deep reserves of strength. When you attempt a heroic feat of strength, roll plus might. I'm gonna roll my might.
Roll your might. Roll your might.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I rolled a 13. So
Ooh,
Clear
very
that.
good.
So we have these like long like feast tables, right? Shuda's gonna like kind of put everybody else behind them, like Hira and Avi and like all these other sage, like they're just sages, right? They're like rishis and stuff, and like with her 4 arms like just lift this table up, and then on a 10 plus, so on a 7 plus you can lift something as big as a horse, and then on a 10 plus, you can hurl what you're carrying away, causing great harm to it and whatever it impacts.
Yes.
So Shira like grabs this fucking large feast table and I think just like bowling pins a bunch of river folk as they like toss it to try and make a way out of the room.
Our
I wanna
Shuda...
mention-
Yeah, go ahead.
Ironcloud is standing over Pazuzu's body. Ironclad's looking around kind of confused. Like Ironclad doesn't know that the coup was a thing.
Oh,
But they're like, wait, what the fuck's happening? Whatever, fuck it, just and goes off and tries to kill some dudes. Because Ironclad is not responsible enough to be told about a coup.
Nope, definitely not. Definitely not included in the coup plan.
And the Riverfolk are ruled by a council of captains, so all the other captains know, but not Ironclad.
Well, and I don't think like all of the river folk
yeah.
are in on it
Yeah,
either.
Like a significant number, like probably
Yeah.
all the ones that served in that battle besides Ironclad.
Yes. Kalitsin and Jahi, y'all are getting charged by a combined force of riverfolk and woven warriors. They're armed very simply. They have very short blades. I think the woven are using their daggers, but they've also supplemented them with concealable blades. I guess this is the one time where swords would be useful, so they have swords.
They brought their swords. We're gonna do a coup later.
You can't stealth a spear as easily. That's the one.
Can
The
I
one
Just
disadvantage
pokes
of
out of the
comment?
back.
Can you
Riverfolk
what?
that have
You
swords.
grudge an old
Riverfolk
man
have
his walking
machetes.
spear.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, so riverfolk would have their machetes and
Yes.
axes, and I mean it's their house. They know where the weapons are.
Right.
What do you all do?
I've got a plan. I'm going to enact a ritual.
All right.
Oh, heck yeah.
Because one of the things that we can do is draw upon the strength of the earth
Oh.
in order to do cool stuff.
It's true.
Uh,
So, when you enact a ritual, roll plus lore and say what you want it to do.
Cool. I'm going to roll. I've got a 1 in lore, so hopefully I'll get lucky. Oh, yes! That's what we call an 11.
Yeah.
So, what do you want it to do, and what does it look like when you do it?
So what it looks like is that I think I am very I get a really stern look on my face. Switching very quickly from it being sort of gentle and kind. And she says enough of this nonsense, and strides quickly over to the wall, and she lifts her hand, and then a chisel appears in it. And then a hammer appears in her other hand, and she just very precisely puts it on the wall and just goes tap, and then it sends out a shockwave through the wall. There's this huge crack noise, and then just a perfectly circular piece of the wall just falls outward, so that anyone who does not want to get caught up in this fighting can just leave, basically.
So, on a 10 plus, pick 2. The magic does exactly what you desire, no more, no less. The magic is far more powerful than normal. The surge of power heals a flesh wound. Pick 2 banes that I cannot pick. You gain fleeting advantage, or you gain insight into your tutor's current state, which is the land. I think. Oh no, you learned this from. Is this the one you learned from the spirits, or is this
one's
the
from
one that was
land.
part of your tradition?
Yeah.
So this one is the
like-
land.
Yeah, tradition to start with.
And then the banes that I get to pick, I'll go over later.
Let's say I would not like dramatic weather changes or attack by land creatures as banes. And it was so cool to have it be exactly what I wanted. I like that, just making a nice perfect circle. So let's do that.
Okay, so it is exactly what you want, no more, no less.
Yes.
And it does not change the weather suddenly or dramatically, or cause the land's creatures to avoid, attack, watch, or crave you. However, what it does instead is the land shows you something it thinks you need to know. And this
nice.
this has some particular weight because it is the arbiters giving you some of this information. They are relaying it to you.
Nice.
Because they do that. So the circle of the wall falls away, and there is a large shattering sound as it collapses onto the ground, and people can start filtering outside of the fighting if they need to. I think the outside the water starts to rise as the tide in this lake comes in, starts coming in. Before long, everyone will be cut off. So those who want to flee can flee now, or you'll be stuck here. In the waters though, outside, Kalitsin, you see flames dancing, and you see briefly you see flower blossoms drifting along the waves, and they for a moment kind of take over the whole of the lake, and the lake is engulfed in these blossoms that are, when you blink, gone. But you hear a strange voice. I don't think the fire spirits have ever had contact with the arbiters before, but there's a strange voice inside your own head that seems to be someone talking to another person, almost as though they're a world away. They are here. What? The Hua have come in full force. And that is what the land thinks that you should know.
It's very good to know.
Yes. Jahi, what are you doing?
That's a good question. Let's see. How many people are coming at us?
So there are about 8 altogether, I think.
Okay.
4 were kind of advancing. They're all like advancing on the party, but as Kalitsin kind of goes to do this ritual, it kind of falls away, and they kind of back up because they're a little leery of the magic. But now many of them are attacking.
Okay. I think I'll just have Jahi do fiercely assault.
Sounds good to me.
Would they be able to hear that something is going on elsewhere? Like, maybe not.
Oh yeah, there's fighting throughout the tide hole.
Okay.
And that's obvious, I think, to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
As like the woven and river folk who are loyal to Haven instead of just Tispal, are holding their own.
Okay. Yeah. They'll go to fiercely assault the people that are coming at them and just try to take down as many as they can.
All right, roll plus might.
Alrighty. And as they're doing this, their weapon is a spear that looks very similar to the River Ken.
There we go.
It would have been one that Veeb made with Win, but she doesn't fight with spears, so she passed it on to Jahi instead. Ooh, and Jahi rolled a 13.
Perfect. On a 10 plus, so you've achieved your goal. These folks are wounded, bound, or fleeing. Choose 2, and I'll pick 1.
Okay.
Your list is: your avenue of escape is clear. You inflict savage, terrifying harm and frighten your foes. You scavenge a useful piece of gear in the aftermath. You learn something useful. Ask a question and get fleeting advantage acting on it.
Ooh. Okay. Inflict savage, terrifying harm and frighten the foes. Jahi is very brutal in battle. Differs from Veep in that way. So they just go for it. Anyone they can knock down, they know what's going on, so they're just taking down anyone that's in their path.
All right.
And then,
all of these are good options here.
Yeah, damn.
I guess it depends. Is Jahi intending to stay or intending to like
Go.
make like a tree and reference Back to the Future?
My God.
If they were to leave, they would just be leaving to join the other fight. They're not looking to leave the hold at
Okay,
all.
good. I love Jahi.
Like, leave.
They are the most 13. Absolutely.
They're
Party's
like,
just started.
yeah, they're
I
like,
will
this
fight
is,
all of you.
This is where the action is. Where else would I go? Maybe they learned something useful.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what question.
Yeah.
I would
Well,
want,
ask.
though.
Yeah. Ask while you think about the question. What I will say is something or someone important to you is harmed. You are able to fight them off, but you are not able to fight all of them off. Kaletsin, you are heavily wounded.
That's very fair.
Actually, no. These guys, these ones would be flesh wounds. No, never mind. They're trained soldiers. It would be a heavy wound. You take the slashed heavy wound.
And I'm literally
have-
like standing still, having a vision, not looking at them with my back turned. So
Exactly.
probably the fact that I don't have regular human corporeality is what saves me from actually dying.
Probably.
Cool. It still sucks to get hit by a
It's-
sword.
oh,
when
yeah,
you're
it
a
sucks.
spirit, for sure. She's got
Especially
like
from
molten blood that starts coming out.
especially
Ooh.
from the Woven, who deal with spirits, and
Yeah.
are wearing their spirit, their menpo.
Nice.
All right, we'll come. While you think, do you have your question, Jahi?
Still working on it.
All right, I'll hang on to that. Shochi.
Yeah. So she got thrown over the table.
Mm-hmm.
The chaos continues. She stands and I think just like grabs a glass of something and just flicks it into Tizpal's face. And while he's wiping his eyes, just slips the knife under and into like his gut. So I'm spending a hold to get my weapon inside of your guard, yield or take a flesh wound.
He takes a flesh wound. I think you slash, but he rolls with it. Give him the flesh wound bleeding.
Spicy.
All right. I think you being so close though brings lets him use his reach and strength to his advantage, and he grabs Shochi by the shoulders and just slams down with his head, getting his weapon inside your guard. Yield or take a flesh wound.
Yeah, I'll take that flesh wound as well.
Let's do one more round of this, and then we'll jump back to our other fights.
He's got her grabbed. He smashes her down, right? I think she's still got the knife in his gut when he does it, though, and it's obsidian. It's sharp as shit. So she just twists it. All she has to do is like keep it in and just give it a little spin, even while she's like woozily trying to recover. I take advantage of your existing wounds, yield, or I turn a flesh wound into a heavy wound, or a heavy wound into a deadly wound.
That flesh wound becomes a heavy wound. And Tizpal reaches down and grabs hold of your hand and like wrenches free, striking at your armaments. Yield, or I knock away a weapon or piece of your armor.
I will have something knocked away.
And he wrenches the dagger out, and like covered in viscera, it just goes flying. You know, there's that moment. It flies, but we see the shadow of it, a line of red blood kind of on the wall.
Oh my god.
I think Do we want to keep going, or do
Yeah,
we
let's keep going. Let's keep going with this.
I
This
can. We
is-
can speed run this because this
Yeah,
is.
let's speed run this.
How do I kill him here? I could.
That's a
I
good
have
question.
the hold.
You have the hole.
He's bleeding.
He's
He's
gouged. Is his
he's got
heavy
the-
wound?
Huge, heavy wound in his gut. I think. Oh dang! So this fighting been going on all around, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think Shochi has a moment of focus with that clear thought crown, and that gives her battlefield clarity. For a moment, she sees in her little glowing eagle, Assassin's Creed eagle vision, a Makwawi that's nearby that she just scoops up. And even though she's not the strongest fighter, she's got speed on her side, and he is severely wounded. So she just kind of bobs and weaves, taking advantage of his faltering reflexes, and then brings the obsidian edge down onto Tispal, attempting to take advantage of his wounds and turning that heavy wound into a deadly wound.
He refuses to yield even up to the end, and I think as that sword kind of sinks in as he's landing, we don't focus on the wound. We just kind of see the look in his eyes as they go wide, and he says, "So it is done. The woven are in your hands now. I will tell our leaders what you have done." And he spits and drops to the ground. Meanwhile, Shura, Ironcloud.
So Shooter just tossed the table, bowling
Mhm.
people, yells out to Ubby and says you protect them, and then we'll just charge Ironcloud.
I think Ironclad was already running, and we meet halfway. We do the fighting game jump in midair.
Yeah.
I imagine you jump over the table
You
that was chucked
so
at you.
I think
Yeah.
you jump over the table and you kind of sail over Rain, who has grabbed one of the river folk and hurled them into one of the attacking woven. As she is single-handedly, 'cause she came without a weapon, but she is just using the enemy against themselves, either literally throwing them or just kind of redirecting their blows.
Hang on, wait. Maybe I yield.
Maybe you yield.
Rain is up for this.
I'm gonna...
Maybe I
wanna
want to
be
be
touched.
you.
Oh my god, Ironclad fucking switches sides to the power of horniness.
Hey, that's on brand for us.
Would be the first
Hang
time.
on.
100% on
Let's
brand for
examine
us.
everything we know about Ironclad and how that is not on brand.
Holy shit.
Ironclad's just trying to have a good time.
Got one goal. Gonna stick with
I
it.
think we see those cool bone bracers catching a blade, and then that turns into someone else being hurled.
I
I need to
imagine
ask, in this hall, what's the ratio of Riverfolk for and
Mhm.
against?
There are more against, but they are losing. They're being driven back.
Ooh. They probably weren't ready to be armed, I'm assuming. Is
Yeah.
the difference.
They were not ready for the resistance to be this strong. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh no. Oh no. That brings doubt.
Oh.
Uh-huh. Well,
Some of Daniel Day-Lewis's finest work.
No, I think
That's not him. Sorry. Oh, it is. Okay, never mind.
if Shura presses the attack, Shura has a moment. Because now Ironclad's looking around confused.
oh, okay.
In the
yeah.
moment, the adrenaline got to her, and she pressed. But I think as she sees more of the river folk are not, and that
Oh, that-
she does not necessarily know.
Then Sure, definitely. I'll spend one of my hold, and I strike at your armaments. Yield or I knock away a weapon or a piece of your armor.
You knock away a piece of the armor. Or armament. Your choice. I'm guessing I know.
I'm gonna knock that fucking sword out of you.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought so.
Get that back.
So just so the audience knows, because Shura hasn't been in action yet. Like as Shura kind of chases, pulls out her sensor, but it's like a flaming flail, basically. Like it's this little ball of red hot fire inside of it on a chain. And yeah, you just kind of see it spin, and it like probably grabs the sword and then yanks it out of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Ironclad. It
You
sounds like
know.
it's your move.
How dare you soil our rightful weapons against us?
Ironclad is going to. Oh fuck! Is it Ironclad? Oh shit! Yeah, Ironclad is going to make an appeal for reason. Yield or show how this must end in blood.
Ooh.
Oh, huh.
Ironclad is like, I took that sword by fair rights. He challenged me. He pressed. He showed this would only end in blood. He came to our house and disrespected me. Now I do not know what this is. I do not know what retaliation this is. I do not know why you attack my people and turn them against each other.
Okay. It definitely goes like, your past and your history matters not here. I see what I saw with my own eyes, and the actions of your house speak louder than your pleas for peace. That time is gone.
And I think in that case, harkening back to a previous duel that has not been shown on screen, Ironclad will try and, I don't know if this is allowed, but they pick up a bow and they pull an arrow from the ashes quiver on their hip as they had defeated the Zuzo with originally and gained the sword, and they say, a sage that does not respect history is no sage at all.
Oh!
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 Surgical, sniped from across the map.
Damn!
Headshot.
In 10 years, Ironclad learned more than 3 words.
Fair, yeah.
What should we pick for your dual move?
I think I have to. I'm gonna keep striking forward. I'm gonna spend another hold. I get my weapon inside your guard. Yield or take a flesh wound. I like so Shuda like kind of dances around basically. Like I said, like their fighting style is very rhythmic. And looks a lot like a dance. Is like you spin the thing around as you make like heavy movements and like expressive stuff. So it's meant to also like disorient as I like quickly close the gap and then like get into you. I don't even need to close the gap too much because like I can like toss the chain out and try and strike you.
I take another flesh wound. I have 2 flesh wounds.
Okay. Oh, I forgot that you had a flesh wound. Hey, do you mind if I do? I take advantage of your existing wounds instead and turn it. You can change your answer, but yeah. Okay, cool. So I turn a flesh wound into a heavy wound.
Okay.
Unless you yield.
Unless you, yeah. Cool.
All right. Jahi, Kalitzin. What are you two doing? Actually, Kalitzin, the fighters that had struck you before do not want you to work magic and attack you again. What do you do?
Oh boy, I think I start trying to be like, no, you fools, the true danger lies elsewhere. So maybe that could be a disarm. Does that even work though? Are they susceptible to my words?
I don't think they are. I think you kind of cry it out, but I think they're kind of set, and so they'll strike you. I think this one
makes
is
sense. Yeah.
this one is a mortal wound.
All right.
But you have a death move.
I do. As a lore master, I get to do my cool ritual as I die, which we're having 2 of this episode. Amazing.
I love it.
So I think
that's
she just
actually
like a spear just like sinks into her. No, they don't have spears because they suck. It's just a sword, another sword slashes down, right?
It's a machete.
Yeah, and we can see her molten blood is just like very freely flowing out. She says, "No, I can't." And then she reaches up and like puts her hand over the wound, and it just gets coated in this like flowing lava-like blood. And she holds it up, and we can see her hand like shaking. And she reaches up and just gently touches the forehead of the man who has killed her. And her eyes like light up blue and then like grading up to white. And his eyes also light up and then like sort of spreading out from him slowly like a fire. We see
Shit.
people's eyes light up, and she imparts the vision that she saw of the land, telling everyone that the Hua were coming.
Hell yeah.
And with that, the fighting stops throughout Tidehold. The river folk and Woven, the pair that were facing off on the outer steps of Tidehold, look around confused, look down at the weapons in their hands, and that after the heat, regret starts to sink in as this realization washes through them. Around the feast halls, people fleeing stop and realize that they're no longer being pursued. Shura, Ironcloud, this vision ripples through your minds as well. What do you do? You all have your own agency, so you know.
Oh yeah, I'm actually kind of. Sorry. I have a weird thing. That's
Okay.
like a few levels for
Well,
sure.
let's-
to stop.
Let's
Fight.
let's get back to that real quick.
Yeah.
Jahid, you have a question still to ask.
Yeah, so Jahi was about to like try to help Klatsine, but obviously that happens in front of them and they're like, oh, okay, I guess I won't do anything there. But as they're kind of putting their weapons down, something falls out of their pocket. It's a scroll, so when, and thanks to Kevin for this idea, when people go off, they write a last will and testament just in case something happens. So they have one from Veeb, and the seal stays shut unless something happens to that person, and then the seal comes undone. So when they see it fall down, they notice that the seal is undone on the scroll, and they pick it up, and they're just like, they have a moment where there's just like sheer panic that goes across their face, and then they hold it really tight. They have a necklace that's from Veeb that like is red hot under their clothes, and they're just like, okay, it's time. And their question is, what do we need to prepare for our biggest threat?
Good question.
Oh,
Or like,
So
what
the
do
sages are just in the other hall. If you just get them right now.
Oh my god! Wait, what did it say? Wait, sorry, I was coming out of it. Could you repeat what the big ones?
Well, I guess the more specific question for him is like, what do I prepare? What can I do against the biggest threat?
Oh, okay.
Ooh, to prepare against the biggest threat. Gather. I think the thing you can do against the biggest threat here is get everyone either to the highest point in tide hold or get everyone to a boat or something as fast as they can, because the lake is swelling. The tide is rising higher and higher than it ever has as the turmoil from this fighting quickly sends a wave flooding into the castle, into the fortress, and places are like places that were secret exits for the river folk are quickly flooded, and people are sent sweeping off by the wind as turmoil hits 6 and rises above control.
Cool.
Oh, good.
So before Jahi goes and is like, all right, I gotta start moving people forward. Is Win still in this room?
I think so, yes.
Okay. So then, as they're running out, they stop at Win and hold the scroll out, and they hand it to them, and they're like, "You open this when you need it. You won't be able to read it, but
Well,
you'll understand."
can we tweak that a little bit?
Sorry, what?
Can we tweak that a little bit?
Yeah.
So per the vagabond move, I forget what it's called, but you don't know who I am.
Oh, that's right. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
So as a free agent, but I think when seeing like this happening, and like maybe like fictionally, like you caught something, like somebody caught you in the side or something, Win will come up to you, like knowing who you are, and say, "Come with me. Come this way. I know V."
Yeah, pulling that name out and
Yeah.
otherwise being random is like, okay,
Yeah.
sure.
And like maybe later on, when you like that, like is like them revealing themselves, and like as like they're on the way out, like maybe that's when you realize and like hand it over,
Yeah.
and like Win will show you like a way like out this building through some scaffolding.
Cool.
So what are people doing to escape from this flood as the lake rises, and a storm like outside brings torrential rain and thunderous lightning?
Personally, I'm dead. I think a lot of the forgers have just left through the hole because they were like, "Welp, time to get out of here. We didn't want to fight anybody in the first place."
Mm-hmm.
I
That
think,
seems very good.
I think some not dissident riverkin ships, now that the tide is rising, like
Mhm.
they're trying to ferry people, like ferry non-dissidents, and like the forgers, the ashes, the sages, they're trying to ferry them out. Like they know tide hold best, and like
Yeah.
they know which ways, which exits are tenable to like rescue people from, and which ones are not. So they selectively like, these are where we will have the most success, and like unfortunate for those people who decide to go down that pathway. But
And I think that's sort of the mood throughout Tidehold, is that people who were at each other's throats seconds ago are now joined in fleeing from
Mhm.
this calamity, because the water should not rise this fast, the ground should not be shaking the way it is, and the water should not rise this high, and all the hate has been subsumed by the flood.
Yeah.
Shura, Ironcloud, y'all are dueling.
Ironcloud, like seeing this, sort of pulls like on one of the ends of the sash, and like it drops, the quiver drops. They throw the boat to the side, and they say, "My father warned you of this. If you did not side with us against the Hua, this would happen.
Wait,
You
Ironclad
judge
is
him for what he does in battle, but he kept them at bay, and now look what happens."
Is this the first we're finding this out, or did I forget it from before?
No, this is the first that's mentioned.
Yo, that's so
Good answer.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
This
very
is-
good.
What? Oh shit!
You deride us at every turn, and yet we keep fighting for you and for everyone.
Oh wow. I think
10 years ago, he went into that jungle and he never came out.
Mm.
Oh my god!
Mhm.
She doesn't even know.
Oh no.
Oh my god. I think Shuda like kind of turns around and looks at the sages, the small group of them that are stuck like here. Hiran, who's like older now, kind of like looks off outside as a bunch of like younger sages are just like around and sees like the people that she's supposed to be protecting and the fight that she's having and like what's happening around her, and like I think she like turns around, like all she does is holster her sensor, turns around and goes to tend to her people.
And the water crashes through the walls. Ironcloud, in the escape for a moment, a black-toothed smile catches you. And Kevin, I'm going to give you an interesting choice here.
Yeah.
Ironcloud can get away, or Wynn can.
Oh
Ironclad.
my god.
I think there's that moment where Ironcloud locks eyes with Wynn, and there's that split second. And what would Wynn say to Ironcloud to get her to go?
You hated me, but you became just like me. Your mother was right.
And Wynn gives Ironcloud the chance to escape, and the waters drag you down. Shochi, the tide is rising. You are, I think, alone. People have fled, and you've been running, and you find yourself at the very top of Tide Hold. The storm is surging, and the lightning crackles, and it shakes like nothing ever has before. You feel the storm. You are the wind. You are the rain. This storm is your storm. This flood, this anger, all of it is coursing through you, but so is something else. So is the need that Shochi brought to unite, to heal, to strike at those who would cause harm, to protect others. And I think everything that Shochi is, everything that she had done, comes to this moment. There is one attaché, I think, here, because Shochi has marked all 4 of her roles, so we're retiring her now. I think knowledge from the land floods through you. Within moments, you learn hundreds, if not thousands of years of history and secrets and rituals, becoming one of the oracles, one of the arbiters. As the ambassador, when you die, you may pass a letter to a companion. Then as you retire, right, you may pass a letter to a companion. This letter can contain a piece of valuable information, a message which obligates the recipient to do something, a map to a secret treasure or location, or anything else important. We'll see what that letter is next time. But I think as the waters rise and recede with Shochi's transformation, and folks flee to safety and reach the shores of Tidehold's Lake, that's where we leave tonight.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Whew.
Thank you all so much for joining us. This has been Haven, a Land Reclaimed here at All Nerds Here. We have many excellent shows, including coming up Royal Flush, a Wild Cards adventure Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern Pacific. Be sure and check that out. You can also give some shout out, love, and thanks to our sponsors. So Nerdwear, they have all the merchandise that the nerds wear. That's their tagline, in fact. So if you want to adorn yourself with some cool nerdy attire, you can save 10% with the code WRASSLE, WRASSLE. If you want to come and hang out and talk about the game, we have a Discord that you can join. It's in the description, which is down there somewhere. So go and find that. But meanwhile, I want to take some time to thank all of the wonderful folks that have just made this session happen, starting with Simon.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is a mind-blowing session. My name is Simon, and I'm still recovering. You can find me and my decompression over on Twitter at Lucha Libres. You can buy some games to help you through this trying time that I've written. Colorspraygames.itch.io. Come check it out. I'm going to throw up a Black Friday sale very soon. I'm also part of a very cool bundle along with some other folks in this group. The Brain Trust Science Fair. We're having a science fair with a bunch of cool experimental and weird games. So if you want to get an absolute steal of a bundle of games, it's like 20 plus games for $40, it's incredible the amount of value that you're getting. Please go check it out. You're going to go and support some incredible designers. I'm a professional game master for Magpie Games. If you go to magpiegames.com/curated-play, you can find out, you can get linked up with me or many other fantastic GMs running games like Masks, Bluebeard's Bride, and the upcoming Root role-playing game. I'm a voice actor for the Penumbra Podcast, which is a queer sci-fi and fantasy audio drama. If you want to see yourself represented in stories, that's at the Penumbra Pod on Twitter, thepenumbrapodcast.com, and available wherever fine podcasts are downloaded. And last but not least, as JR said, come back on Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific, for Royal Flush, a Wild Cards adventure where we play City of Mist. I'm a cast member there on this here channel. And then come back at 8 o'clock Eastern over at twitch.tv/go_JG. We're playing After the War, another game with a lot of feelings of science fiction, mimetic horror. It's very cool. Come in for the second episode. The first episode's up on YouTube, so go check out the VOD, get caught up, and then come back.
And then, of course, we've got Alex.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for going through all that with us. That was amazing. I'm Alex. You can find me on Twitter at @afractaldragon or on itch.io at fractaldragon.itch.io. One of my games is also in the Science Fair bundle, which is really, really cool. Definitely check that out. A bunch of cool folks in that. Speaking of climactic events, I am also going to be in the last episode of Chimera Cape and Blade, not this Friday, but the next one, where we are going up against both an angry thunder god and an entity called the Skybreaker, so that's going to be interesting. Also, I've just announced a podcast that I'm debuting on December 1st. That is a really fun project that I've had in my back pocket for years and is just now coming out. This is Unplaytested, the podcast where we play games that have never been played before because they never existed before, because we're making them up right now. You can submit ideas to our big list of games, and then we will make them on a 1-hour podcast, and then try and play them the next week on stream and see how it goes. You can check out unplaytested.com for some more info on that and to sign up to play or be a designer, because you, the listener, can just come play on the show and design a game. It's fun. It takes like an hour. It's actually pretty easy. So check it out. That's going to be releasing on December 1st. We've got a Patreon. We got all sorts of stuff. So check it out. It'll be really fun.
Sweet. And of course, thanks to our excellent producer, Rue.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rue. I have been the Ashes of Prithvi, Veeb, and now Jahi. You can find me on Twitter at Cherry Drop, and I do production here and a couple other places.
Sweet. And then we've got Viditya.
Hello, everybody. I have been Viditia. I will be Viditia. I will continue to be in the future. Jeez. You can find me at Viditia Valetti on Twitter. You can find my games at viditiavaletti.itch.io. And you can support me on Patreon similarly. And follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/VHValetti.
Sweet.
To reinforce a lot of things. Actually, I feel like there's just a bunch of stuff that's being all of us are going to say at the same time. But I too am a part of the Brain Trust Science Fair, where you can buy my game, The Fire Flickers Between You, alongside incredible other very interesting experimental games. Simon did a great job hyping that up. And also, I am also on After the War on Sundays. Another great game, a short series. So we have 4 episodes. We've done 2 already, so you should definitely stop by to check it out. It'll be really cool, and I'm very excited about it. And I think that's it. I don't know, my brain's fried. This is a great episode. Just rewatch this episode. Don't do any of my other stuff. Just go back and tweet about how great
Rewatch this one.
That's what I wanted you to do.
And then, of course, Kevin, who has been the opposite of. Well, I guess if we need to bully you more, let me know and I'll do it.
I'm Kevin. You can unfollow me on the places, but you can go back a Kickstarter. The House Always Wins that Viditia has a stretch goal on.
Oh my god. I forgot about that.
Jesus.
It's a good thing we have each other.
Go at Wheels. Tell him that Viditia forgot and to put me on that project.
Oh my god.
That's how you do it.
The
No
power
one is
play.
safe from being usurped.
I'm also on the After the War show on twitch.tv/GoJG, who I think we might be rating soon. And I have a game that is in the Brain Trust bundle. And I just made a game about this game. You can find it on winconditions.itch.io, a small skirmish game based on Starjet. It is in which you can play sort of hex-based factional combat and play as either the Woven, the Sages, the Ashes, the Thunderlords, the Forgers, or the River Folk, and recreate these as on the greater macro scale. I think it's fun. I think you should check it out. I drew all the hexes. I was really proud of those.
It's amazing.
Yeah, they're great hexes.
Thank you.
And last but not least, I'm JR. I've been your arbiter, and I love this so much. Thank you all for sharing your Wednesday evening with us. This show would not happen without you all in the audience, in the chat. Thanks for joining us. Doing anything right now is hard. So it's awesome that you're here. We love doing this for you all. We want to keep doing this for you all. So keep shouting us out. If you enjoyed this episode, make some noise about it and let people know. We got 2 episodes left, so we got to really ramp up hard. I ordinarily would promo some things, but once again, I'm going to, especially since the boss is here, we're gonna do one last after the credits scene. Can I get some lamentful or maybe some like weirdly hopeful music, Simon?
Make it weirdly
I can see what I can do about that.
Yeah.
Make it weird.
This is for all you real ones sticking around to the very end.
This is for you real ones.
This is for the real ones.
It's also for you, the real ones watching the VOD.
The Easter egg at the end.
It is also for people watching the VOD all the way through. Win. It is dark and damp and thick.
Ew.
The ground around you is just disgusting. Muck and mud. Where did the river folk bury that last gate?
right in the jungle there. It was always there.
When you finally reach up and pull your face out of the dank jungle ground, out of that like rich soil covered in mud and ash and decomposing matter and all of that other stuff that's in the jungle, you look around and you realize they did in fact bury the gate, and you just didn't expect to walk back through it. That's where we leave off. We'll see you all next time, folks. We're gonna go raid Go JG.
Wait.
who's playing some Destiny 2.
Wait, hold on.
No rest for the wicked.
Hey,
Damn.
but JR,